Hey guys, my name is Robert. Today I'm very excited because I'll be sharing something big for people who use or are interested in Superwhisper. A while back, I shared the Alfred workflow I created for this app, and along with it, I also shared a group of Keyboard Maestro macros. I have now prepared a major update that I know many of you have been waiting for. Let me back up a bit to give you an overview. Months ago, when I first discovered Superwhisper, it quickly became an integral part of my everyday workflows. This tool takes your dictation, transcribes it, and allows you to process it with AI. I created the Alfred workflow to perform some of its functionality faster and more efficiently. And together with the Alfred workflow, I put together a group of Keyboard Maestro macros. This not only gave me easy access to Superwhisper's features, but also expanded them. It's like a collection of very useful hacks. When I first shared this, it worked for a while, but then there was an update from Superwhisper that changed the app's behavior and it broke the whole macro group. Now, I have still had a working solution all this time, and you might have seen it in a few of my videos. The developer Nail has promised to incorporate a native solution for triggering automations directly from Superwhisper, so I was waiting for the official release before sharing more. But the thing is that the official update could come out tomorrow, next week, or a couple of months from now. Nobody knows. The whole macro group has been so extremely useful to me. So instead of waiting any longer, what I have done is that I have repackaged everything that I had already working in my system in a more user-friendly way that I can share with all of you. I have rebuilt all the macros from the ground up so that when the official update comes out and there's a way to trigger automations directly from Superwhisper, we can simply do a quick modification and everything will continue working in the same way. By the way, this group of macros now works completely independently from the Alfred workflow. You will only need Keyboard Maestro to make this work. Let me walk you through everything you can currently do with them. First, let's look at web searches. With a simple trigger phrase, you can perform quick searches by voice. For example, I can say, ask Google how to cook Mexican food. Perfect. Or I can say, ask YouTube tips on prompting. Great. I can even say, ask OpenAI, hey, I need some help. The macros I'm sharing have many preset web searches, but you can easily customize and add your own. In this case, I used a URL to start a conversation directly. Now, since I'm on the OpenAI website, I want to highlight something important. During the setup of the macros, you will need to turn off Superwhisper's auto-paste feature. This will give you full control over where your results appear. However, there's one Superwhisper feature that lets users press and hold the Shift key to automatically press return. Since we're disabling that in Superwhisper, I have also implemented that functionality in the Keyboard Maestro macros. You can be in any messaging app, start dictating, and simply activate the auto send for your current dictation. For example, I can say, can you tell me a short poem? And that's it. It will auto send. Then I can continue with it. That's great, thank you. This enables super quick interactions with apps or websites like this. Now let's explore the menu bar indicators. When you set up the macro group, your active Superwhisper mode will display in the menu bar. If you have the recording window active and you use that to switch modes, the menu bar will also be updated. There may be a tiny bit of a delay depending on your system specs, but I still find this very useful because I can start a new dictation and I know the mode that is already active. If you use the Alfred workflow or deep links to switch between Superwhisper modes, you can also keep the name updated without having to start a dictation. And if you don't want the mode's name up there because your menu bar is already very crowded, this is completely customizable. You will also see some visual indicators showing the active action mode, which is a key feature of this macro group. Now, action modes are what allow you total control over whether you paste your result or not. A moment ago on the ChatGPT website, my active action mode was paste result, indicated by this small symbol. This behaves similarly to Superwhisper's auto-paste, essentially pressing Command V every time. If I clear the action mode, my results will always appear in the recording window. This approach allows you to be without issues in an input field like a note and dictate anything without worrying about your result going to your front app. Since you can quickly activate or deactivate action modes with keyboard shortcuts or manually by clicking under the menu bar, this makes Superwhisper much more versatile. Let me show you the paste chat mode. I mainly use this in a clean note, and that's when I want a chat-like experience with AI. I just have to make sure that I have a Superwhisper mode with application context enabled, and I can dictate anything. Hey, I need your help with something. This feature of the macro group is incredibly useful for mixing text and voice in one request. I can paste something, for example, and I can ask, hey, can you tell me what this says in English? I get the result and I can continue. That's wonderful, but how can I explain this to a child? This kind of interaction is not as fast as the official OpenAI website or similar services, but it's super handy. In fact, it's the method that I used to create the entire Alfred workflow and all the code that you find in this macro group. Now, something that I haven't shown you is an action mode that lets you communicate with Superwhisper through text only without dictating. I created this for those cases that I'm in a very noisy place or if I'm in the middle of the night and I don't want to wake anyone in the house. Then I press my keyboard shortcut, and after the processing happens, I will get my answer back. Beyond action modes, menu bar indicators, and web searches, you can also create trigger phrases to send dictation results to any Keyboard Maestro action. This includes scripts or shortcuts. For example, a while back, I shared my AI memos automation that I use for recording and transcribing with my Apple Watch. Since it all runs with one shortcut, I have plugged that into the macros so I can easily dictate. Make a note, give me 5 creative things to do over the weekend with my wife. Then this will process my request, cache my trigger phrase, and send the results to my shortcut. Later, I can open Bear and my note is there, ready and waiting. You can pretty much send your Superwhisper results to any application that has shortcuts integration. Lastly, I have also added a simple way to create auto-expansion snippets. We already have that in the Alfred workflow, but I thought this was still very useful for people that would be using the macros alone. This means that by typing a few letters, this can expand in your last result, your last dictation, or even the entire system prompt. Now, I know that you may be thinking that all of this sounds cool but very complicated, but I have put a lot of work and a lot of time to document everything. You will need Homebrew and a small utility, but I promise to guide you step by step. The documentation I have written is designed to be clear and as user-friendly as it can be. In fact, right after shooting this video, I plan to shoot a few more clips explaining several parts of the setup and how to use everything. I am hoping that this version of the macros is much more versatile than the previous one, and hopefully it will allow us to transition easily whenever the official support for automation comes out, like I mentioned before. I will do my best to keep the documentation up to date, explaining about any changes over there. One thing that could potentially break the macros is if the cloud sync feature of Superwhisper is implemented and the directory of Superwhisper is moved to a different location. But even then, I think that it could be a quick fix. Just let me know if you encounter any issues. For those that are not sure about Superwhisper, let me be clear. These macros, in my opinion, elevate an already amazing application beyond any other similar tool in the market. For me, they feel like superpowers that transform how you can interact with AI for voice and text-related tasks. You can check the description for the download links. Make sure to go through the entire documentation so that you can learn how everything works. If you have any questions, comments, or if you have any ideas that you would like to see implemented in the macros, please let me know. I'm happy to consider any feedback, and I'm also happy to help if you run into any issues. Don't forget to sign up to my newsletter for updates on what I'm up to. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.